Hi everybody, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 7. Best or worst ever. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Last night during the reaction video, we were critical, but tonight what we're going to do is we're going to talk about last night's episode. Maybe I jumped the gun. It could have been one of the most epic trolls in television history because there were so many things that just did not make any sense, but as promised, I am not going to bash the show. I am a fan of the show. You know, when you go to watch a movie like Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2 or something along those lines, I guess you don't watch those because many, many years ago. But when you're watching something, you just have to be blindly entertained. And this was entertaining, but we dug down and there were just a lot of incongruencies in the story. But I'm going to prove that we can criticize the writing, criticize the show, and still like the show. Unlike other fans that are out there, we're not going to say, Mel is dead, I'm never going to watch the show anymore. Nick is dead, I'm never watching the show anymore. I'm going to pick on the writers a little bit from last night's episode, but I'm still going to come back and watch it next week and support the show 100%. So that is what's in store tonight. So we're going to talk about, is this the best or the worst ever? So before we get into that, I do want to say what's up to Valar with the super chat coming out of the gates. Valar says, hello, Army Kill Steph, Emmy Kills Bree, Sweet Tommy, sponsors and Patreons. So thank you so much for that, Valar. I appreciate your introduction, even though I just butchered your name. So let's start out just the tip of the iceberg, and feel free to chime in, leave some of the things that you noticed about last night's episode. But the fact that there were some things that we're going to talk about tonight, and then we're looking forward to next week's mid-season finale, shows that they kind of got us, right? They threw the bait out there, we bit the hook, and now they're just reeling us in. So it all started for me with the positioning. So in the very first scene, I remember Mel had a pretty good shot at Alicia. And Alicia turns around, and they were kind of standing with nothing obstructing their view. Alicia turns around, she shoots John. And then the next thing I know, John's behind a car, Naomi's behind a car, Morgan's behind a car, and then everybody just sort of scattered. So they split up really, really quickly. So I guess that's implied that they got in defensive position, but I never really saw them get into defensive positioning. So I am going to read a couple comments here. So Sergeant Chosen One says, it's not a bad episode, just the decision making. I agree. I think the episode in the totality was pretty good because it connected 6 to 8, and we're still looking forward to the main storyline. But some of the things that happened, it wasn't as bad as the one last year, the water, the dam, and the repetitiveness. However, there were some things that happened last night that happened over and over again. I'll talk about that in 1 second. Jake from State Farm says, nothing wrong with last night's episode. It was just, compared to all the good episodes we've been getting. To a degree, Jake, I do want to challenge a little bit of that. So here's one of the things in character. So let's talk about Althea a little bit. Is Althea just that confident, that arrogant, or that determined to get the story at any cost? And this is what I mean. There's fire going back and forth, and it very easily could have went that the Vultures killed all of Alicia's group. And then what reassurance does Althea have that they're not going to kill her? Just question. Now, we know it's not going to go down that way, and vice versa. I guess if Alicia's group wins and kills all the Vultures, well, then Althea's got it all on tape. But Althea did arrive with them, so if the Vultures win, that's going to be a compromising situation for Althea. So it's a little bit suspect in the way that went down. No reassurances. But table that. That's just one small thing. And stay tuned tonight. Buckle your seatbelts because we are going to talk about last night's episode. We're going to pick it apart a little bit. Ultra Groove says she's looking for a Pulitzer. She's looking for something, but there's nobody around to give her that award. So Althea is very arrogant. They can't kill the director of the show. E-Beat says, I'm just scared about the same old season break cliffhanger. Is Madison dead? Been done. Well, if so, they're going to build it up because there is some Madison next week. But at some point, I'll touch on next week's episode. If we don't get to it tonight, Then we'll do random things tomorrow, and then we'll get to it on Wednesday night. So Ron Burgundy says, I thought the Vultures had to jump on Alicia and her group. Agree. I don't like how it was implied that they all took different positions without guns firing. So we just got spoon-fed that. And we had to accept that there was some pause, and everybody's like, hold on, you go behind that car, we're going to go behind this car, and then we'll start firing each other again. So that's fine. How about, let's move away from Althea a little bit. How about the Mel and Naomi scene? Mel is a sweet-talking dude, but the fact that he hasn't spent a lot of time talking to Naomi, like almost none, and he planted the seed right there and got her thinking. You could see her pause. I thought Naomi was a much stronger, more determined character. And Naomi left the sanctity of John's house. And now she's at the stadium, and she's always been out for herself, but miraculously enough, she is giving pause and thinking about leaving with the Vultures when she could have just left on her own. That confused me a little bit as well. I thought it was a little bit out of character for Naomi to try to convince Madison and the group to go join the enemy. Just something that I noticed. Also, a little bit of comic relief in there. I did think the Mel-Naomi scuffle, if you want to call it that, was definitely entertaining. So Mel breaks free, pulls a knife, has a knife all the way up there, and then gets poked in the ribs, and then the knife was not even there. No reflex action. I mean, that's quick thinking on Naomi's part. If Naomi can take care of herself to that degree, why does she need to join the Vultures? And if Mel has leverage, and Naomi believes that Mel has leverage, why not use Mel for leverage? Because you almost get the impression that the group thinks that this Walker attack is, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. However, Naomi seems to think that if you leave with Mel, that Enos would be able to stop the attack. So if that's one of the conditions that this could stop from happening, why not just use Mel as leverage? I'm going to open it up for those comments, because I guess that's the part that I might have struggled with the most of the whole episode. Let's see. Kel says, I think we'll find out Mel was a good guy. I'm not sure. I still think, Kel, I still think there's a lot of neutral. I still think that there's a lot of, this season, I think the writers want us to choose something. They want us to choose a person, a side, and so we debate it, and we talk about it. There is no Rick's good, Negan's bad. I think there's some indecision along the way. Wade Johnson says, hey, Kills, thank you for having such a great channel. Wade Johnson, I want to thank all of you for making this such a great channel. On the topic of that, while you guys are typing your comments, I do want to be serious for 1 second. I'm going to have some fun with this episode. And if you guys are on the 999 Army Facebook fan page, there was a comment today by Tanya Dockstader. And if you guys could just check that out. It's one of the nicest things that I've seen. And it really is a testament to all of you, the maturity, the group. You know, we call ourselves the Army, and it really is a family atmosphere. We disagree on some topics, and we get some heated debate. But when you see comments like what Tanya wrote yesterday about the enjoyment that a lot of people get out of this channel, it has to do with every one of you. I just talk. I read a lot of your comments, but you guys really make up the composition of everything that we do here. So thank you. Appreciate everything that you guys do. And, keep those awesome comments coming. It does make a difference. And it's a show, but this show, I think, has created some bigger relationships. So there you go. All right, just a little serious shout out. So I'm going to get back to a few of the comments here. And as I said, if you guys are tuning in late, we are going to criticize Fear the Walking Dead. I know I never said we couldn't criticize the show. We can be fans of the show and criticize it. We're just not going to beat it to death, and we're not going to leave the show. That's the difference. So I want to be able to get in that gray area that Fear the Walking Dead so famously does. If they're going to put us in the gray area tonight, our chat is going to be in the gray area. You do always love, you love the shows that are slam dunks, where everything is very congruent and it goes A, B, C, and it's like bam, or it goes A, B, and then they throw you a surprise and then it wraps up. Last night was not that. Last night we were all over the place with our scoring. Some people loved it. Some people were like, could have been much, much better. I gave several alternative endings or alternative solutions that I think would have made it better. And we're going to add a few more to that tonight. So perhaps some of the humor that got lost in the shuffle, one, I think the fight scene between, I literally laughed when Naomi poked Mel in the ribs, and the next thing you know, he's back where he started from. But that really was the theme. There were a lot of things where people are back where they started from. For example, Madison used the wood to build Naomi's quarters, then had to take the wood off Naomi's quarters to reinforce the wall, and then Madison asked for the gate to be opened that was reinforced, and Doug is like, nah, I'm not asking. Strand's like, I'm not asking. They do it to let Mel free, and then they put the stuff back up again, and then Nick and Alicia have Douglas remove the stuff again so they can go after. So there was a big kind of roundabout thing with the fence. So the fence is important. Even though it's a small detail, it was much, much bigger than just a fence. That's a great point. KCF, this is another thing that I had written down in the notes, and I think that's excellent. Why give Mel all those supplies? So, question for you guys. How far was Enos away anyway? And if she was going to, did Mel even need any supplies? See, that was a little bit of unanswered stuff as well. So Enos and all the vultures are out gathering walkers. Why, apparently Mel and Charlie are driving around and they hit a walker. Mel gets injured. So apparently it was close enough that, did Charlie not have a way to communicate with the vultures? Because I thought that was another thing that I didn't really get either. And if it was answered, you guys help me out with this. So Charlie walks all the way back to the stadium and knocks on the door. But there was no way that they could have communicated with the vultures. The only radios are Madison's group. Maybe. So I'm going to open it up for that part of it. I guess the question is, how far did Charlie walk? Did Charlie walk all that way with no supplies? She decided to go back to the group so they would help, as opposed to, you know what, let me, you'd think Charlie would just push Mel to the side, drive, and find Enos somewhere. So, Gina says Mel and his brother were fighting, so he wasn't going to go back to the group. So, yes, they needed them. Okay, if so, there has to be something that still goes down to bring them all back together. Okay, so the brothers were arguing. I'll give you that. Ron says Kills Mel didn't agree what Enos was doing. That's why they were leaving the Vultures. But somehow or another, after this week's episode, you got to go back in time. Because Enos is with Charlie. So Mel is very protective of Charlie right now. And Mel was leaving with Charlie. However, after you really have to go episode 8 and then go back to episode, 4, where Nick died. So something will happen to smooth everything over. Naomi is going to join the group somehow. That still's yet to be determined. But yet, Enos gets possession of Charlie, and you would assume that everything is okay between Enos and Mel. That they make amends. So, I'm still a little confused by that. So let me backtrack a little bit. Who's the leader of the Vultures? We'll simplify this a little bit. Or who appeared to be the leaders of the Vultures? I thought Mel, right? So maybe that's a question that should have been answered a little bit more as well before we killed Mel off. So it wasn't clear. Yeah, that was a little bit confusing too, because Mel seems to... See, I don't know if Mel was just making it a little bit more dramatic. You know what I mean? Like, maybe Mel was there, and he figured once he's there, I might as well go ahead and get a surrender. I think that Mel could have gotten Enos to back down. That's my point. Davina Tanoia says, if Mel's boss, why didn't he stop Enos? So they made it appear like Mel was in power, and then he was stripped out of power totally. And I don't think he would send 1,000 walkers in on his brother. Especially, Charlie's up there too. All right, that's fine. We're gonna skip. We're gonna fast forward a little bit. You guys are doing a pretty good job answering some of my questions, but I still have more. Did the car that I'm going to see who's paying attention. Jimmy's Jammin' says the true enemy has yet to reveal himself. Do you guys agree with that? Super chat spotlight, Jimmy's Jammin'. Is there a bigger, more diabolical enemy that we're still going to see? Emmy agrees. Maurice Gamble agrees. Villar says possible. If there is, Jimmy, I don't think we're going to see it right away. I think it would be a little bit too breathtaking. I think it's going to have to be like a couple clues. You know, maybe they find some more flags or something. Not at season 8, it's like, oh, and then somebody else just comes out of the woodwork and they get attacked. So I think you get an episode or 2 reprieve, and then there does have to be a bigger group. But I'm telling you, I'm not trusting Althea just yet. She might be a part of something. She's extremely confident in wanting to film all this stuff for something. Also, all members of 99 Army, if you guys can do me a huge favor, make sure you mail the like button. One thing that is good stuff. We got people, Lucille in the like button. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Al does have layers. She admitted it herself, right? Okay, so I'm going to get back to that question. Jimmy's jamming. Thank you for that super chat. I'm going to write that down because I do feel like it's going to happen, but I'm thinking around episode 10 or 11 because I have no idea the direction the show is going to go in the second half. Because the enemy could pretty much be, this enemy could be extinguished. I guess there was a little bit of a pun there. Mel was on fire, extinguished. Never mind. You guys get it. Okay. One more major question I have, and I'm hoping the group can answer this one. So, Alicia, Nick, and Mel are all in a car. This is not a joke. It's not like 3 people walk into a bar. Question for the group. Does the car that Alicia and Nick are in, does it have mirrors? Does it have rear view mirrors? I think somebody already knows the direction of this question. Okay. Any reason why they just parked the car there and when there's 1,000 walkers being released, they're waiting for the gate to open. They don't say, you know what? Why don't we drive around the block a little bit until all this is over? We're going to sit right here until we're completely inundated with walkers. How about hit the gas and get the hell out of there and drive around. The stadium has to have a back of the stadium or a side of the stadium. They didn't move. They sat there, and the next thing you know, they're completely surrounded. So Madison is going to have to go out and save her kids once again. I don't know about you, but if I'm there, for one, if I have to hang Mel out the window to be an appetizer, that's what I will do. Sorry, Charlie. We got him, but we had to release him. I mean, you've got bait and you've also got a car. So, okay, maybe you can tell me they were in shock. Wait, what is he doing? I'm not sure what he's doing. Is that a walker? No, that's... oh my God, that's 1,000. There's 1,000 walkers. Well, what are we going to do? I don't know. I guess we'll sit here and wait for Mom to open up the gate. No. How about just hit the gas and get out of there? I told you we were going to have a lot of fun with this. So, all right, so those of you are a little bit earlier that said, all right, Mel and Enos are fighting. Mel couldn't have convinced him. Okay, I'll give you all that. But Alicia, Nick, you survived this long. Nick is eating dog. Nick has covered himself in walker blood. Alicia has done some crazy stuff. And between two of them, they can't hit the gas. The walkers had to walk down a ramp. The other thing, I'm just being picky now. I'll go back and watch it. I don't think any of the walkers fell when they were walking down the ramp. I've walked down one of those ramps. Okay, everybody, I think we are back. I think, wow, this is not the first time I've been critical of The Walking Dead, and maybe I need to stop doing streams like this. That was about a 5-minute disconnect. All right, I'm going to say good things about The Walking Dead. That's pretty crazy. Maybe it's coincidence. Who knows? But we are back, and I'm going to say it was the best episode I've ever seen. So the YouTube villains do not bar me. Censorship is bad. All right, we are back. Thanks for being patient, hanging out. So we last left it at the wonderful story writing of which two of our main characters had a injured semi-hostage former villain in the car, completely surrounded by walkers, and they made the intelligent decision just to wait it out, just to see how things were going to play out. And I do fully support that. All right, I'm being super, super sarcastic at this moment. All right, I think I do have one or two more critical aspects of last night's show. I am. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it the way it's going down. When you guys watch the playback, I don't know what happens to that 2 or 3 minute moment of silence. So hopefully it wasn't even there and it just kind of flows all the way through. I guess we'll find out. If you guys watch the playback, send me a message or leave a comment just to let me know if that several minute is included in that. I'm curious. And let's see. I think this is going to be a pretty serious storyline. What do you think about the camera? Is someone going to break the camera? Morgan looks like he's getting agitated, and in next week's episode, Althea has to do something, and she hands the camera to Charlie and says, "Here, film this. I don't want anyone to miss this." Future storyline, the camera dies. Yeah, I think that's going to be, maybe when she has something she's protecting and just when you think we're going to find out something, the camera breaks. Something's going to go down with that camera. And I have one more question, and then I'll open it up for some of your comments before Gimple and company censor me again. So it could you can give me the shock factor, just like everybody was frozen. I mean, Alicia did have time to talk on the walkie-talkie and say, "Hey, Mom, I'm sorry I caused all this." If I was Madison, I'd have been like, "Hey, look, honey, you can apologize later. Just turn the ignition, hit the gas, get out of there, come around to the back. There's a back entrance to the stadium. There's a way you can sneak in. You don't have to sit out in front of the gate." I would have done something like that. But one more thing is I do know for a fact that there's a lot of shooting in the mid-season finale. So the question I have is, why not, Enos is there to release the walkers, and they're going to use all their ammunition on 1,000 walkers trying to shoot them that are going to walk through fire and burn down the stadium. Not even really burn down the stadium. Those walkers are going to get in, and they're going to get trapped inside. So that's something we have to talk about too. But why didn't they shoot the people releasing the walkers instead of using all their ammunition when they're outnumbered? I'm going to need explanation for that. And Jimmy's jamming. Jimmy, are you going to super chat that? Jimmy jamming with another super chat. Jimmy, leave a follow-up comment. I know you got one. And, oh, look, we got an appearance from Captain OU Crawfish as well. And then, moderators, let me know if Jimmy typed something. Crawfish says they should just let it go. Let it go being frozen. Yeah, let go of the stadium. Or why not? Well, I guess the seeds are already planted. I was going to say they could just pack up their seeds and just go find some more fertile land. Good point. Madison could have shot him early on. Okay, Chris Rainig asked just a little bit ago, and said, is Madison going to die? So the question I have for all of you, Madison says she has nothing else to lose. How did the walkers get trapped and locked up inside the stadium? Now, that would imply that someone opened the door, let all of them in, and then locked them in behind. Because Althea drove through it. They were trapped in there. So if you are hanging on by a thread, do you think that Madison, there's some way that they escaped it? Now, if that question is not answered, because the walkers just did not walk in and then close the door on their own. See, that's very possible. Ron says Madison trapped them in there so the group could escape. All right, I'll give you that. Or Madison is hiding out in there somewhere. All right, a couple comments. Jimmy's Jammin's follow-up was going to say it's bad writing. I do think it's either bad writing or really, really good writing because they know that we're just going to watch it. Maybe it's like, you know what, we can't tie all these loose ends. The hell with it. Let's just have some fun with it and just go from A to Z. We don't need B through everything else. Crawfish says, over your head kills. That was a Disney reference. Yes. I saw the movie. And also heard the song about 1 trillion times. Petey Wheatstraw super chatting and says, sorry I missed yesterday. Happy belated birthday to Tommy, the sweet ass enforcer McCandless. Yes. And hopefully Tommy did have a great birthday. We gave him a little bit of a shout out. Several shout outs. So the biggest question that we're going to have is how did the stadium door get locked? So if they don't answer that question and Althea had to drive through the gate and they left the gate open, I can give them an episode or two and say, look, I know there was some odd positioning, some things out of character, episode 7. All right, I'm fine. I'll watch it. Preacher's not realistic either. A lot of the other shows I watch aren't realistic. Raymond Reddington should have died 100 times in a Blacklist. He never dies. So I'm not going to pick apart Fear the Walking Dead too much because I'm here to be entertained. But if they keep doing it, then I may have to kick it up another notch. So I need to see how all those walkers get inside the stadium and the door gets locked behind them. Otherwise, if they burn the door down, then how did Althea drive through it? So I don't think they're going to be that extreme, but that does give us a conversation topic, and I think back to what Ron said a little bit ago, maybe Madison trapped herself inside to free everybody else. Crawfish, if I were to even attempt to sing a line from Frozen, it would definitely have to be during one of the Random Things broadcasts, not during a deep psychological analysis of the Fear the Walking Dead characters and the wonderful decisions that they made last night. Ah, interesting. Chris Raining says, isn't that what the Vultures do, is lock the walkers up to keep them for next time? Very, very good possibility. So Chris is saying that maybe they took over the stadium and then the Vultures had them trapped in there and just locked the door as their storage facility. So the Vultures have a new walker storage facility and it's the stadium. What do you guys think about that? I think that is very, very clever. And that would tie up all those loose ends. So I'm going to pose two different scenarios. Does Madison let the walkers out and then lock them in to save the group? Or does the group pretty much get demolished and the Vultures use that as their storage pen? Plausible. And Crawfish, it's already deep in here with the Fear Gimple love. You know, not just Fear. I love the stories that Scott Gimple tells. I'm not an anti-Scott Gimple person. I love what he's done for the franchise. I told you guys this a long time ago. I mean, there's certainly things we can be critical of when characters leave and things don't go as planned. But I have to say, of all the shows I've watched, his ability to be involved in the show, I mean, some things are suspect, but I like to be told a story. And there's a lot of pressure to keep this many viewers happy and to stay up in the top of the ranks for so long. I'd give him a vote of confidence. Very good. Nether Fox says, walkers are a resource in a Negan voice. That is I did not see it when she drove through the gate. And I watched the sneak peek and I watched the opening minutes, so I didn't see anything that... I did see Alicia. So I don't know if you guys saw this. What is Alicia shaking? Where she says, "Where did you get this?" I tried to freeze it. What is it? Meds? Vitamins? What is she shaking where she said, "Where did you get this?" Is it something that belonged to Madison? I mean, I went back and watched it like 3 times trying to figure out, like, what does she have in her hand? It's got to be something that belonged to Madison. But I couldn't remember Madison having a box of something. So that story will have to be told next week as well. No, it wasn't a tape. It was like it was the size of like a Pop-Tart box. But when she shook it, it sounded like it had like pills or vitamins or something in it. Could have been a box of bullets. I mean, it wasn't a box of Pop-Tarts, but it was about, I don't know. I don't know why I compared things to a Pop-Tart box. Yeah. That was just the first thing that came to mind. No, it wasn't bandages. It was something that made a ball bearing sound or BB sound or something. You could hear it. Or seeds. It was either seeds or vitamins or something, pills. It clearly made a noise. If I had something, I would make that noise for you. There you go. As close as I can get. Sound effects are free. There's no extra charge for sound effects. Box of Twinkies? No, Twinkies do not make that sound either. I mean, I guess Pop-Tarts would make that sound. You know, the foil that it's wrapped in. Tic Tacs, that's what it sounded like. Tic Tacs. Yeah. You got it, Beth. That's exactly what the sound is. All right. So many questions. And you know what? I've covered pretty much all the topics we wanted to hit on tonight. So I do want to thank everybody for being here. We're about 45 minutes. We're going to cut this one a little bit shorter tonight. Tomorrow night we will have random things. Once again, I apologize. I don't know what happened in the middle of the stream. It was just bizarre. I guess I got my credibility back really, really fast. Thank you for being a part of everything that we do. We'll do random things, as I said. We'll do bold predictions on Wednesday night. So we will talk about the Fear mid-season finale. We're going to give our predictions and do a little bit of your homework. I definitely want to see some of the thoughts. We've been all over the place with this so far, but I'm still very, very anxious, very eager to see how this is going to play out and what to look forward to in the second half. Thursday night, we will be back with our Game of Thrones chat. So I know there's some big fans out there. We put it off for the last couple weeks, but we're going to be back, and we're going to jump into a couple different topics. I think a couple weeks ago we did trivia, so we mixed it up a little bit, got into some of the breaking news. And Friday, I'm not sure yet. So Friday, keep the calendar somewhat open. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate everything that you do. Your participation is extremely awesome. Hit that like button. And also, if you're watching the playback, this is it. This is the closing credits. If you're still in the chat, which most of you still are, give me a quick 999. And if you're new to the streams, subscribe and hang out with us. We don't do a whole... Oh, hold on. I know you guys are doing 999. I do have to answer a question because I got to ask 2 things today. One, we don't do a lot of 5-minute videos. Every once in a while, I will put one together if it's breaking news and we want to throw it out there. But I did that for a long time, and everybody is involved in doing that. Most of our streams, the people that are here every night know this, are interactive. So if you're watching us or you watch some of the playback, the whole MO of our channel is your thoughts, your comments, so they're included in this video. Also, I had someone ask me a question today, and it has been brought up before. People have asked, what is the difference, and I'll do these in shout-outs, between a Patreon and a sponsor. Patreon get a little bit more access. I'll post pictures of just various things. I'll run ideas by them. It is on our main site. It's patreon.com. You can see it. There's a link to it. It's a way to support 999 Gaming Channel. Also, the sponsor is directly through YouTube. There's a sponsor button there. Sponsor gives you a different highlight, also some custom emojis. Both, I appreciate all the support, but there were people that asked the questions between the two. So hopefully it answers the question. If you guys have any additional questions, you can always kick me at KILZHOT, And then another thing, I want to give a super shout out to the super chatters that make this conversation entertaining and fun. It's fun to shift topics from time to time. So when you guys super chat, we do zone in and answer those questions as well. So all right, load up with the 999s and Pop-Tart that like button over there, and let me give some official shout outs. So the Cat Nat, absolutely. Valar, thank you so much, Valar. Who else we got here? Captain OU Crawfish in the house. Alicia James, thank you. Have a great night. Epic C, Maria Favada, Sergeant Chosen One, Maggie B, Maurice Gamble, Cammie, Ron Burgundy, Kelly Golanzinier, The Walking Dead Nerd, B Loves 999 and The Walking Dead, E Beach 72, Nether Fox, Mitch True, Chris Reinig, Gina Crockett, Lamont G, Sensational, the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Kells, Tommy. As I said before, the Patreons, you can see them up in the top right corner. Sponsors for the channel. Who else we got? Lieutenant Ripley, Bumblebee Brown, Fluff, Hippo in the house. I'm going to hang around just a couple more minutes, try to get as many of these shout-outs as I possibly can. Casey F., thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. I got you, Eric C. I got you. We'll hit it again. Thanks so much, Zelda Faz. Appreciate you being here. Jimmy's Jammin', Dakota Page. Appreciate it. Tommy V. Thanks, Tommy V. Jason the Mixology. Look at that. Triple 999s. OU Captain Crawfish. Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? Absolutely, I have. Just a little bit of butter on a Pop-Tart, like some melted butter to go along with some of that nice icing along the top. But I gotta be honest, I haven't eaten a Pop-Tart in a minute. It's been a while. Mark. New to 999. Well, Mark, hopefully you had a good time, and you'll subscribe, join us, hang out with us, and throw some of your comments up in chat. We'd love to hear what you think about the show and hear what you think about the streams. You guys, I got the 999. So the Walking Dead Nerd has Lucille, and also that's an iron, for Negan ironing Dwight. I added that emoji. That's my custom emoji. I had to do something for Dwighty boy. I have not heard a song about Pop-Tarts. I feel like I'm going to have to go look it up now. And Kel, can you put the link up for the gear site? Also, we've got Walker Stalkers Comic-Cons coming up. One last advertisement thing. If you guys are interested in 999 gear, you can check out the Threadless site. And if we don't do it tomorrow, I will announce it the following week. We're going to start to do some contests. I know several people have the gear and have asked about it. So if you post a picture on our Facebook site wearing the gear at one of these events, either Comic-Con or Walker Stalker, then we're going to give away some gift cards for that as well. Love that comment. Nowhere else I'd rather be than with 999. And we love having you here too, Jimmy's Jammin'. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you guys are having a good time. It really makes it worthwhile. So Maria Favada wants to know, what's the Facebook page? It is The Walking Dead 999 Army. And can someone put a link up to that too, if you guys have it saved, either Steph or Emmy? Maybe we get a link to the Threadless site and also a link to the Facebook page. Yeah, you got to stop. Crawfish does this from time to time. I'm winding the stream down. We get into credits, and I know it's intentional. So when is the ELO shirt going to be released? due to copyright infringements, we'll do a... I'll tell you what, Crawfish, let me get back to you tomorrow night during Random Things. I have to process this to see if a ELO-themed shirt or a Steph Richardson Cuervo shirt or a combination of the two, I'll come up with something for you guys. Or maybe a moderator type of shirt. I promise you your comment will not go unanswered. So remind me tomorrow night and just let me give it a little bit more thought. And we got Don Machiavelli. Pandemic to sack. Would you meet Negan or Daryl? Is that a kind of an open-ended question? I mean, I can ask the group. What would you guys rather, to meet Daryl or Negan, if you had a choice between meeting one of the two? I'm going to drum up a whole different conversation. Daryl, Negan. A lot of Daryls. Yeah, I think Daryl's probably going to win outright with that. You're killing me, man. All right, Crawfish says, I'm accusing him of stalling and just asking questions. So I am going to say that'd be the Sacramento event this month. If I had a third choice, I'd pick Rosita. Sorry. See, we got a whole different, we got everybody riled up all over again with those last couple questions. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you so much for those last-minute super chats. I'm going to wind this thing down before somebody sneaks in one more question. Hold your questions. Add those questions for tomorrow night. We're going to have a very entertaining Random Things. There will be a Walking Dead topic. We're going to finish up. We got to continue our music best groups. Absolutely, we want OU Crawfish to support the channel. And you know what, everybody? I'm going to ask everybody to give me a quick OU in chat just to show Captain Crawfish how much we love his support and the super chats. And the next question he asks will get tabled for tomorrow night in Random Things. So everybody, instead of a 999, just a quick OU on the way out the door. You've kept everybody here, that's for sure. All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate the support. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I will talk to you all tomorrow night at 9:30. Peace.